हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण राजू प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम। చేద్దాము నేను కూడా వస్తున్నా చాంటింగ్.
ओके प्रभु। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री साति गौर भक्त वृंद, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री साधु गौर भक्तवृंद, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण।
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर गौर भक्त हरे राम
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Sati Gaura Bhakta Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Jai Shri
Krishna
Krishna.
Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram
Great
Hare
Ram.
Hare Krishna
Gaur
Krishna Hare
Bhakti.
Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare
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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare
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 Ram.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
जय श्री
Hare
कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna
हरे राम कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Krishna 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for joining today. Yeah, Deepa Mataji, I made you host. You can continue.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. CC Adilila 16.87 translation. After hearing the explanation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the champion poet was struck with wonder. His cleverness stunned. He could not say anything. He wanted to say something, but no reply would come from his mouth. He then began to consider this puzzle within his mind. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This mere boy has blocked my intelligence. I can therefore understand that Mother Saraswati has become angry with me. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that all intelligence comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart as the Paramatma. The Paramatma gave the Pandita the intelligence to understand that because he was proud of his learning and wanted to defeat even the Supreme Lord, by the will of the Lord and through the agency of Mother Saraswati, he had been defeated. One should not therefore be too proud of one's position, even if one is a greatly learned scholar. If he commits an offense to the lotus feet of the Lord, he'll not be able to speak properly in spite of his learning. In every respect, we are controlled. Our only duty, therefore, is to surrender always to the lotus feet of the Lord and not be falsely proud. Mother Saraswati created the situation to favor the champion Pandita so that he might surrender unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Sangeeta Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Sorry, Mataji. Hare Krishna,
No.
Mataji. Translation. The wonderful explanation the boy has given could not have been possible for a human being. Therefore, Mother Saraswati must have spoken personally through his mouth. Thinking thus, the Pandita said, "My dear Rimai Pandita, please hear me. Hearing your explanation, I am simply struck with wonder. I am surprised. You are not a literary student and do not have long experience in studying the Shastras. How have you been able to explain all these critical points?" Hearing this and understanding the Pandita's heart, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied in a humorous way. "My dear sir, I do not know what is good composition and what is bad, but whatever I have spoken must be understood to have been spoken by Mother Saraswati." Shall I read, Mataji?
We'll go to the next person, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Randya Mataji, can you read today?
Yes, Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. When he heard this judgment from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Panditas when he heard this judgment from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Pandita sorrowfully wondered why Mother Saraswati wanted to defeat him through a small boy. I shall offer prayers and meditation to the goddess of learning, the champion concluded, and ask her why she has insulted me so greatly through this boy. Saraswati had in fact induced the champion to compose his verse in an impure way. Furthermore, when it was discussed, she covered his intelligence, and thus the Lord's intelligence was triumphant. When the poetic champion was thus defeated, all the Lord's disciples sitting here began to laugh loudly. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked them not to do so, and he addressed the poet as follows.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Lavanya Mataji unnara?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Prabhuji, what is the age of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at this time, Prabhuji?
Kaishora.
Yes, Mata, 16 Mataji.
Okay. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are the most learned scholar and the topmost of all great poets. For otherwise, how could such fine poetry come from your mouth? Your poetic skill is like the constant flow of the waters of the Ganges. I find no one in the world who can compete with you. Even in the poetic compositions of such great poets as Bhavabhuti, Jayadeva, and Kalidasa, there are many examples of faults. Such translation, such mistakes should be considered negligible. One should see only how such poets have displayed their poetic power. Purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.11 it says, Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlo.
Mataji, read it like this, huh? Tadvaga visargo janataga viplavo. Like that, huh?
Yeah.
Bhagavatam.
Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokamabhaddhavatyapi namani anantasya yasho ankitaniya shunvanti gayanti grinanti sadava.
It's a very important, very famous sloka, Mataji.
Okay.
Namanyanantasya yashonkitaniya. Very important sloka. Huh? We will practice this one day.
Okay. In explaining the glories of the Lord, inexperienced men may compose poetry with many faults. But because it contains glorification of the Lord, great personalities read it, hear it, and chant it. Despite its minute literary discrepancies, one must study the poetry on the merit of its subject matter. According to Vaishnava philosophy, any literature that glorifies the Lord, whether properly written or not, is first class. There need not be any other considerations. The poetic composition of Bhavabhuti or Shrikanta include Malati Madhava, Uttaracharita, Veeracharita, and many similar Sanskrit dramas. This great poet was born during the time of Bhojaraja as the son of Nilakanta, a Brahmana. Kalidasa flourished during the time of Maharaja Vikramaditya and he became the state poet. He composed some 30 to 40 Sanskrit dramas, including Kumara Sambhava, Abhignata Shakuntala, and Meghaduta. His drama Raghuvamsha is especially famous. We have already described Jayadeva in chapter 13 of the Adi Leela. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you.
Mataji, this age of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I am not sure of Mataji. Once I heard in one lecture, he's just a 16-year-old boy. So based on that, I am telling, but I will ask my counselor and then get you back. Okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Before the starting of the chapter, they have described, Prabhuji, that it is Kaishora Leela and Chepesi. I
Yes,
think that is
Mataji.
right
So,
only.
10 to 15. Kaishora means till 15.
While
Till
reading,
16,
I had somewhere 11 years, Mataji. I don't know
He said.
exactly.
No, 11 to 15 is a Kaishora age, Mataji.
Yes.
So Kaishora will be described from that time. But when this happened exactly, that I don't know. I should ask my counselor. Okay.
Prabhuji, me the turn.
Oh, okay. Translation. I am not even fit to be your disciple. Therefore, kindly do not take seriously whatever childish impudence I have shown. Translation. Please go back home, and tomorrow we may meet again, so that I may hear discourses on the Shastras from your mouth. In this way, both the poet and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went back to their homes, and at night the poet worshipped Mother Saraswati. In a dream, the goddess informed him of the Lord's position, and the poetic champion could understand that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Should I continue, Mataji, or should someone else take?
We'll give it to Raju Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation. The next morning, the poet came to Lord Chaitanya and surrendered unto his lotus feet. The Lord bestowed his mercy upon him and cut off all his bondage to material attachment. Purport. The same process advocated by Lord Sri Krishna in his teachings of Bhagavad Gita as it is, surrender unto me in all instances, was advocated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The champion surrendered unto Lord, and the Lord favored him. One who is favored by the Lord is freed from material bondage, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Takta deham punarjanma naiti mameti soarjuna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sapan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Translation. The poetic champion was certainly most fortunate. His life was successful by dint of his vast learning and erudite scholarship, and thus he attained the shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport. Sri Narottama Dasa Thakura has sung that the best qualification for taking shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya is to be the most fallen, because the Lord came specifically to deliver the fallen souls. In this age, there are very few scholars. Almost everyone is a fallen meat-eater, drunkard, woman hunter, or gambler. Such persons are never considered learned scholars, even if they pose as such, because these so-called scholars superficially see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu associates with fallen souls. They think that he is meant for a lower class of men, but that they do not need him. Thus, such scholars do not take to the Krishna consciousness movement to be puffed up with false learning. Therefore, is a disqualification for accepting the Krishna consciousness movement. But here is a special example. For although the poetic champion was a greatly learned scholar, the Lord also favored him because of his humble submission. Hare Krishna.
Srila Vrindavan Das Thakura has described all these incidents elaborately. I have only presented the specific incidents he has not described. The nectarian drops of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes can satisfy the senses of everyone who hears them. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadasa, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Purport. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, 16th chapter, describing the pastimes of Lord in his childhood and youth.
So, Mataji, there is a shloka there, which is Bhagavatam shloka, 1.5.11. Can you please open that shloka, Mataji? That verse.
Yes, Prabhuji.
It's somewhere
think-
104 or 105.
Yeah,
105.
and I remember this one, Prabhuji. When Suta Goswami was describing Bhagavatam, there is the purport. It is written, no, Prabhuji, like
Means generally why we appreciate Prabhupada is not because of his literary or his poetic versions, but why we appreciate him. He could give the utmost philosophy in a very clear and distinguished language which we can understand. So that is why this shloka is very important, and even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's this thing also in his conversation with Keshav Kashmiri. What is the essence actually? The essence is not how poetic you are, or how intelligent you are, or how you are keeping the Panini grammars within intact, but the point is how you could reach to other people. That's why this Jayadev Goswami and Kalidasa, they might not be a good poets, but why they could be reached to the common people? Because they made the highest philosophy understood to the least common people. This is where actually all acharyas are successful than the poets. Poets who are best in the grammar, they couldn't reach to general masses, but these acharyas could reach. Why? Because they have followed this shloka by heart. They have implemented it by heart to the people. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Do you want to recite this?
so. Prabhuji, Kalidasa also is like written about Lord Prabhuji, like glories of Lord.
No, he's a poet, Mataji. But his main things are like Raghuvamsa and three more. What he has done is he has done a drama of how Ramayana could be reached to general masses, who are the tribals, even to the tribals. So this is how he could do it, and he could do it 100%. These dramas were till 1940, till the Tollywood and Bollywood came, Mataji.
Yeah, 20th Shatabdam, 20 Shatabdam.
Yes, 20th century. They were still proceeding towards 20th, and that is how local folk could connect to the Lord. So this is their contribution to the society. See, so
I
this
only
goes like this.
Abhignava Shakuntala, Abhignava Shakuntala. I only that.
So, that is also a Kalidas one. Vikramaditya, he is from Ujjain, Mataji. He's from Madhya Pradesh king. He's a very great king, and the moment he could learn about this person, Kalidas, he gave a lot of patronage to him, and he made him a Asthana Kavi.
Asthana Kavi, yes. Yes,
Okay. Yes.
And the same purport also Prabhupada wrote in this. When Suta Goswami was describing Bhagavatam glories, although he is not like Chandasu Paranga, like he's not familiar with Chandasu, but it's the same thing. Like he is glorifying Lord, so everything will be perfect. Yeah, that's what he said in the purport. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So will you please repeat after me once this shloka? Tadvad visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokamabhadyavatyapi namanyanantasya yashogitaniya शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः Yeah, thank you so much, Maharaj. You can please continue the call, Maharaj. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
This is contextual, Mataji. Means we should also read the previous shlokas and the next shlokas. Then we'll understand what this shloka actually means.
Okay, Prabhuji. We'll do the translations. Let's do 5 each. Samyukta Mataji, you can start.
Yes, Mataji. Text 1. I worship Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose nectarian mercy flows like a great river, inundating the entire universe. Just as a river flows downstream, Lord Chaitanya especially extends himself to the fallen. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of the Lord. Long live Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Kaishara age. Both the goddess of fortune and the goddess of learning worshipped him. The goddess of learning, Saraswati, worshipped him in his victory over the scholar who had conquered all the world, and the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, worshipped him at home. Since he is therefore the husband or lord of both goddesses, I offer my obeisances unto him. At the age of 11, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to teach students. This marks the beginning of his Kaishara age. As soon as the Lord became a teacher, many students came to him, every one of them astonished to hear his mode of explanation. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Sandhya Mataji, next
Hare
5.
Krishna Mataji. Text 6. The Lord defeated all kinds of scholars in discourses about all the scriptures, yet because of his gentle behavior, none of them were unhappy. Text 7. The Lord, as a teacher, performed various kinds of pranks in his sporting pastimes in the water of Ganges. Text 8. After some days, the Lord went to East Bengal, and wherever he went, he introduced the Sankirtana movement. Text 9. Struck with wonder by the influence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intellectual prowess, many hundreds of students came to the Lord and began studying under his direction. Text 10. In East Bengal, there was a Brahmana named Tapana Mishra who could not ascertain the objective of life or how to attain it. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Lavanya Mataji.
Text 11. If one becomes a bookworm, reading many books and scriptures and hearing many commentaries and the instructions of many men, this will produce doubt within his heart. One cannot in this way ascertain the real goal of life. Tapana Mishra, being thus bewildered, was directed by the Brahmana in a dream to go to Nimai Pandita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he is the Lord Ishvara, the Brahmana told him, undoubtedly he can give you proper direction. After seeing the dream, Tapana Mishra came to the shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet, and he described all the details of the dream to the Lord. The Lord, being satisfied, instructed him about the object of life and the process for attaining it. He instructed him that the basic principle of success is to chant the holy name of Lord Hari, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Laxman Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Tapan Mishra desired to live with the Lord in Navadvipa, but the Lord asked him to go to Varanasi, Benares. Text 17. The Lord assured Tapan Mishra that they would meet again in Varanasi. Receiving this order, Tapan Mishra went there. Text 18. I cannot understand the inconceivable pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for although Tapan Mishra wanted to live with him in Navadvipa, the Lord advised him to go to Varanasi. Text 19. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu contributed the greatest benefit to the people of East Bengal by initiating them into Harinam, the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and making them learned scholars by educating them. Text 20. Because the Lord was engaged in various ways in preaching work in East Bengal, his wife Lakshmi Devi was very unhappy at home in separation from her husband. Thank you, Mother.
Raju Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The snake of separation bit Lakshmi Devi. Bit Lakshmi Devi, and its poison caused her death. Thus, she passed to the next world. She went back to garden. Lord Chaitanya knew about the disappearance of Lakshmi Devi because he is the super soul himself. Thus, he returned home to solace his mother, Sachi Devi, who was greatly unhappy about the death of her daughter-in-law. When the Lord returned to home, bringing with the great wealth and many followers, he spoke to Sachi Devi about transcendental knowledge to relieve her of a grief she was suffering. After coming back from East Bengal, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again began educating others. By the strength of his education, he conquered everyone, and thus he was greatly proud. Then Lord Chaitanya married Vishnupriya, the goddess of virtue, and thereafter he conquered the champion of learning named Keshava Kashmiri. Hare Krishna.
Sapan Prabhu?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Vrindavan Das Thakura has previously elaborately described this. That which is clear need not be scrutinized for good qualities and faults. Offering my obeisances to Srila Vrindavan Das Thakura, I shall try to describe that portion of Lord's analysis which, when he heard it, made the Digvijayi feel himself condemned. Once on a full moon night, the Lord was sitting on the bank of Ganges with his many disciples and discussing literary topics. Coincidentally, Keshav Kashmiri Pandita came there. While offering his prayers to Mother Ganges, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord received him with adoration, but because Keshav Kashmiri was very proud, he talked to the Lord very inconsiderately. Hare Krishna.
Chandramauli Prabhu, do you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Text 31. I understand that you are a teacher of grammar, he said, and that your name is Nimai Pandita. People speak very highly of your teaching of beginner's grammar. Text 32. I understand that you teach Kalpa Vyakarna. I have heard that your students are very expert in the word jugglery of this grammar. Text 33. The Lord said, yes, I am known as a teacher of grammar, but factually, I cannot impress my students with grammatical knowledge, nor can they understand they can understand me very well. Text 34. My dear sir, whereas you are a very learned scholar in all sorts of scriptures and are very much experienced in composing poetry, I am only a boy, a new student, and nothing more. Text 35. Therefore, I desire to hear your skills in comprising poetry. We could hear this if you would mercifully describe the glory of Mother Ganges. Text 36. When the Brahmin Keshava Kashmiri heard this, he became still more puffed up, and within 1 hour he composed 100 verses describing Mother Ganges. Text 37. And the Lord praises him, saying, "Sir, there is no greater poet than you in the entire world." Text 38. Your poetry is so difficult that no one can understand, but no one can understand it, but you and your mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Text 39. But if you explain the meaning of one verse, we can all hear it from your own mouth and thus be very happy. Text 40. The Digvijaya Keshava Kashmiri inquired which verse he wanted explained. The Lord then recited one of the 100 verses Keshava Kashmiri had composed. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. The greatness of Mother Ganges always brilliantly exists. She is the most fortunate because she emanated from the lotus feet of Sri Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. She is a second goddess of fortune, and therefore she is always worshipped both by demigods and by humanity. Endowed with all wonderful qualities, she flourishes on the head of Lord Shiva. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to explain the meaning of this verse, the champion, very much astonished, inquired from him as follows. I recited all the verses like the blowing wind. How could you completely learn by heart even one among those verses? The Lord replied, by the grace of the Lord, someone may become a great poet, and similarly by his grace, someone also may become a great Shrutidhara, who can memorize anything immediately. Satisfied by the statement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Brahmana Keshava Kashmiri explained the quoted verse. Then the Lord said, now kindly explain the special qualities and faults in the verse. Samyukta Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Text 46. The Brahmana replied, there is not a tinge of fault in that verse. Rather, it has the good qualities of smiles and
similes and alliteration.
Similes and alliteration. The Lord said, my dear sir, I may say something to you if you will not become angry. Can you explain the faults in this verse? There is no doubt that your poetry is full of ingenuity and certainly it has satisfied the Supreme Lord. Yet, if we scrutinizingly consider it, we can find both good qualities and faults. The Lord concluded, "Now therefore let us carefully scrutinize this verse. You are an ordinary student of grammar. What do you know about literary embellishments? You cannot review this poetry because you do not know anything about it." Hare Krishna.
Sandhya Mataji.
Text 51. Taking a humble position, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Because I am not your level, I have asked you to teach me by explaining the faults and good qualities in your poetry." Text 52. Certainly, I have not studied the art of literary embellishments, but I have heard about it from higher circles, and thus I can review this verse and find it in many faults and many good qualities. Text 53. The poet said, "All right, let me see what good qualities and faults you have found." Text 54. My dear sir, in this verse, there are 5 faults and 5 literary ornaments. I shall state them one after other. Kindly hear me and then give your judgment. Text 55. In this verse, the fault of Avimrishta Vidheyamsha occurs twice, and the faults of Viruddhamati, Bhagnakrama, and Punaratta occur one each. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Lavanya Mataji.
Yeah. Text 56. The glorification of the Ganges, Mahatvam Gangaya, is the principal unknown subject matter in this verse, and the known subject matter is indicated by the word idam, which has been placed after the unknown. Because you have placed the known subject at the end, that which is unknown at the beginning, the composition is faulty, and the meaning of the verse has become doubtful. Without first mentioning what is known, one should not introduce the unknown. For that which has no solid basis can never be established anywhere. In the world, Dvitiya Sri Lakshmi, a second all opulent goddess of fortune. The quality of being a second Lakshmi is the unknown. In making this compound world, the meaning becomes secondary to the originally intended meaning was lost. Because the word Dvitiya, second, is the unknown, in its combination in this compound word, the intended meaning of equality with Lakshmi is lost.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes.
Lalitman Prabhu.
Text 60. The word Bhavani. Sorry. Text 61. Not only is there the fault Avimrishta Vidheyamsa, but there is also another fault which I shall point out to you. Kindly hear me with great attention. Here is another great fault. You have arranged the word Bhavani Bhartar to your great satisfaction, but this betrays the fault of contradiction. Text 63. The word Bhavani means the wife of Lord Shiva, but when we mention her husband, one might conclude that she has another husband. Text 64. It is contradictory to hear that Lord Shiva's wife has another husband. The use of such words in literature creates the fault called Viruddhamatikrit. Text 65. If someone says, place this charity in hand of the husband of wife of Brahmana, when we hear these contradictory words, we immediately understand that the Brahmana's wife has another husband. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Raju Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Matra. Text 66. The statement by the word Vibhavati flourishes is complete. Qualifying it with adjective Adbhuta Guna, wonderful qualities, creates the fault of redundancy. There is extraordinary alliteration in 3 lines of the verse, but in 1 line there is no such alliteration. This is the fault of deviation. Although there are 5 literacy ornaments decorating this verse, the entire verse has been spoiled by these 5 most fault presentations. If there are 10 literary ornaments in a verse, but even 1 fault expression, the entire verse is nullified. One's beautiful body may be decorated with jewels, but 1 spot of white leprosy makes the entire body abominable.
Sapan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. As one's body, although well decorated with ornaments, is made I think we finished 71, is it?
Late Prabhu.
Okay. Made unfortunate by even one spot of white leprosy, so an entire poem is made useless by a fault, despite alliteration, similes, and metaphors. Now here the description of the 5 literary embellishments. There are 2 ornaments of sound and 3 ornaments of meaning. There is a sound ornament of alliteration in 3 lines, and in the combination of words Sri and Lakshmi, there is an ornament of a tinge of redundancy. In the arrangement of the first line, the letter Ta occurs 5 times, and the arrangement of the third line repeats the letter Ra 5 times. In the fourth line, the letter Bha occurs 4 times. This arrangement of alliteration is a pleasing ornamental use of sounds. Hare Krishna.
Chandamali Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. In the arrangement of the first line, the letter
76 inch.
76. Okay.
76 to 80.
Yeah. 76. Although the words Sri and Lakshmi convey the same meaning and are therefore almost redundant, they are nevertheless not redundant. Text 77. Describing Lakshmi as possessed of Sri, opulence, offers a difference in meaning with a ting of reputation. This is the second ornamental use of words. 78. The use of the words Lakshmir Iva, like Lakshmi, manifests the ornament of meaning called Upama, analogy. There is also the further ornament of meaning called Virodhabasa, or a contradictory indication. Text 79. Everyone knows that the lotus flowers grow in the water of the Ganges, but to say that the Ganges take birth from lotus flowers seems extremely contradictory. Text 80. The existence of Mother Ganges begins from the lotus feet of the Lord. Although the statement that water comes from the lotus flower is a contradiction, in connection with Lord Vishnu, it is a great wonder. Hare Krishna.
In this birth of the Ganges by the inconceivable potency of the Lord, there is no contradiction, although it appears contradictory. Everyone knows that lotus flowers grow in the water, but water never grows from a lotus. All such contradictions, however, are wonderfully possible in Krishna. The great river Ganges has grown from his lotus feet. The real glory of Mother Ganges is that she has grown from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Such a hypothesis is another ornament called Anumana. I have simply discussed the 5 gross faults and 5 literary embellishments of this verse, but if we consider it in fine detail, we will find unlimited faults. You have achieved poetic imagination and ingenuity by the grace of your worshipable demigod, but poetry not well reviewed is certainly subject to criticism. Hare Krishna. Samyukta Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Text 86. Poetic skill used with due consideration is very pure, and with metaphors and analogies, it is dazzling. After hearing the explanation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the champion poet was struck with wonder. His cleverness stunned. He could not say anything. He wanted to say something, but no reply would come from his mouth. He then began to consider this puzzle within his mind. This mere boy has blocked my intelligence. I can therefore understand that Mother Saraswati has become angry with me. The wonderful explanation the boy has given could not have been possible for a human being. Therefore, Mother Saraswati must have spoken personally through his mouth. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Sandhya Mataji. Lavanya Mataji, ఈలోగా మీరు చదవండి. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, sorry, Mataji.
No problem.
Text 91. Thinking thus, the Pandita said, "My dear Nimai Pandita, please hear me. Hearing your explanation, I am simply struck with wonder. I'm surprised you are now a literary student and do not have long experience in studying the Shastras. How you have been able to explain all these critical points?" Hearing this and understanding the Pandita's heart, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied in a humorous way, My dear sir, I do not know what is good composition and what is bad, but whatever I have spoken must be understood that to have been spoken by Mother Saraswati. When he heard this judgment from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Pandita sorrowfully wondered why Mother Saraswati wanted to defeat him through a small boy. Yes.
Yeah. Sindhya Mataji? Okay. Lalit Mohan Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. 96, text 96. I shall offer prayers and meditation to the goddess of learning, the champion concluded, and ask her why she has insulted me so greatly through this boy. Text 97. Saraswati had in fact induced the champion to compose his verse in an impure way. Furthermore, when it was discussed, she covered his intelligence, and thus the Lord's intelligence was triumphant. 97. Text 98. When the poetic champion was thus defeated, all the Lord's disciples sitting there began to laugh loudly, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked them not to do so, and he addressed the poet as follows. Text 99. You are the most learned scholar and the topmost of all great poets. For otherwise, how could such fine poetry come from your mouth? Text 100. Your poetic skill is like the constant flow of water of the Ganges. I find no one in the world who can compete with you. Thank you.
Raju Prabhu?
Even in the poetic compositions of such great poets of Bhavabhuti, Jayadeva and Kalidasa, there are many examples of faults. Such mistakes should be considered negligible. One should see only how much poets have displayed their poetic power. I am not even fit to be your disciple. Therefore, kindly do not take seriously whatever childish impudence I have shown. Please go back home, and tomorrow we meet again, and so that I may hear discourses on the Shastras from your mouth. In this way, both poet and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went back to their home, and at night the poet worshipped Mother Saraswati. Hare Krishna.
Sapan Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. In a dream, the goddess informed him of Lord's position, and the poetic champion could understand that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. The next morning, the poet came to Lord Chaitanya and surrendered unto his lotus feet. The Lord bestowed his mercy upon him and cut off all his bondages to material attachment. The poetic champion was certainly most fortunate. His life was successful by dint of his vast learning and erudite scholarship, and thus he attained the shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We'll give it to Chandramali Prabhu for the last three.
Sure.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Chandramali Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. 109, Maharaj.
Yeah, 109 to 111.
Text 109. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has described all these incidents elaborately. I have only presented the specific incidents he has not described. Text 110. The nectarine drops of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes can satisfy the senses of everyone who hears them. Text 111. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha, always desiring the mercy, I, Krishnadasan, added Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, we can conclude the reading call. We'll start with Dhruv Maharaj prayers.
So what is redundance, Mataji? It's so many times used.
Redundant ante something inka ipudu ante old అయిపోయింది ఇంకా అది యూజ్ లో లేదు, then it is called redundance.
Okay.
So where is redundance coming? ఏ దాంట్లో వచ్చింది మాతాజీ?
అదే poetic వాళ్ళ దాంట్లో like
redundant means redundancy. So statement by the word Vibhavati flourishes is complete. Qualifying it with the adjective Adbhuta Guna, wonderful qualities, creates the fault of redundancy. Ante inkadi that's not the anymore a right way of using. Although the words Shri and Lakshmi convey the same meaning and are therefore almost redundant, they are nevertheless not redundant. Ante redundant means inka adi panikiradu anamata. So an alternate ga use chese Shri and Lakshmi convey the same meaning and therefore almost redundant. Ante
useless. Yeah.
Useless. Yeah, exactly. Useless.
Same words ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి it's only one word use చేయొచ్చు, మిగతా waste అన్నట్టుగా, like the use of using the same meaning. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes. We will go for the new shloka today. Shall we go to the new shloka?
Yeah, we can do that.
So what is the time now? It's 8:50. 10 minutes. Okay. So we'll go to the synonyms. I will just recite. Please recite after me 3 times every synonym. Okay. Wherever it is a bit tougher one, I'll just repeat it again and again. Okay. Please repeat after me. Noonam.
Noonam.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Noonam.
Noonam.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Noonam.
Noonam.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Vimushtamataya.
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 Those who have lost their right intelligence.
Those who have lost their right intelligence.
Tava.
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 Your. Mayaya.
Mayaya. Mayaya.
By the influence of your energy.
By the influence of your illusory energy.
Sorry, illusory energy. Mayaya.
Mayaya.
By the influence of the illusory energy.
By the influence of your illusory energy.
Mayaya.
Mayaya.
By the influence of your illusory energy.
By the influence of your illusory energy.
They. Ye. Who. Tvam. You. Bhava. From birth. Apyaya. The death.
Apyaya.
Apyaya. And death. Apyaya. And death. Vimokshanam.
Vimokshanam.
Vimokshanam. The cause of liberation. Anya hetu. Anya hetu. For other purposes. Archanti. Worship. Kalpakatarum. Who are like the desire tree. Kalpakatarum. Who are like the desire tree. Kalpakatarum. Who are like the desire tree. Kunapa. Of this dead body. Kunapa. Of this dead body. kunapa
kunapa
of this dead body,
of this
Of
dead
this
body,
dead body.
apabhogyam,
Apabhogyam.
sense gratification.
sense gratification.
Deepa Mataji, can you please remove that cursor from there? Because,
Yeah.
yes.
Sorry.
Hare Krishna. Upabhogyam,
Upabhogyam,
sense gratification.
sense
Sense
gratification.
gratification.
Upabhogyam,
Upabhogyam,
Upabhogyam.
sense gratification.
sense
Sense
gratification.
gratification.
Ichanti,
Ichanti,
they desire.
they
They
desire.
desire.
Yet,
Yet
that which.
that which
That which.
Sparshajam,
sparshajam,
derived by touch sensation.
derived by touch
sensation.
sensation.
Sparshajam,
Sparshajam,
derived by sense, touch sensation.
derived by touch sensation.
Sparshajam,
Sparshajam,
derived by sense, touch sensation.
Derived by
touch sensation.
Niraye,
Niraye.
in hell.
In hell,
Niraye,
Niraye,
in hell.
in hell,
Api,
Api,
even.
even,
Nirnam,
Nirnam,
per persons.
per persons,
Nirnam,
Nirnam,
per persons.
per persons.
See, this Nirnam, actually it comes like Nirnam. Per, what you say, this recitation per se, we will go as a Nirnam, okay? Because you cannot say Nirnam at that moment. The speed which we are going, you cannot spell it. So generally, I heard many of the devotees or my own counselors speaking it like this, so I'm just explaining it the same way. Nirnam,
Nirnam.
for persons.
Per persons.
Nirnam,
Nirnam.
for persons.
Per persons.
So now I'll repeat some words. Please repeat after me. Go to Shloka directly now. Kunapopa bhogyam.
Kunakopabhogyam.
Kunapopa bhogyam.
Kunapobhogyam,
Kunapopa bhogyam.
Kunapobhogyam.
Kunapopa bhogyam.
Kunapobhogyam.
Kunapopa bhogyam.
Kunapobhogyam,
Kunapopa bhogyam.
Kunapobhogyam,
Nirayepi nirnam.
Nidayepi Nirnam,
The last word, okay? Nirayepi nirnam.
Nirayepi Nirnam.
Nirayepi nirnam.
Nirayepi Nirnam.
Nirayepi nirnam.
Nidayepi Nirnam,
Nirayepi nirnam.
Nirnam,
Nirayepi nirnam.
Nirayepi Nirnam.
Yat sparshajam.
Yat Sparshajam.
Yat sparshajam.
Yat Sparshajam,
Yat sparshajam.
Yat Sparshajam.
So we have 2 more minutes. Shall we recite the whole shloka?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Nunam vimushtamatayastava mayayate ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanya hetu archanti kalpakatarum punapopa bhogyam ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam. Okay, this is how it comes. We'll go line by line. Nunam vimushtamatayastava mayayate.
Nunam
Vimushtamataya tava mayayate.
Nunam vimushtamatayastava mayayate.
Nunam vimushtamataya tava mayayate.
नूनं विमुष्टमतयस्तव माययाते
नूनं विमुष्टमतयस्तव माययाते
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्ययातो
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
I will repeat it 3 more times because this is a bigger line of the whole verse. Ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanyahito.
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
Ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanyahito.
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
Ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanyahito.
ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
Archanti kalpakatarum kunapopabhogyam. Papa name Mataji, Popa. No, Popa. Okay. This goes like Papa only, so I just made it repeat again in the start. Archanti kalpakatarum kunapopabhogyam.
अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं पुनः
Archanti kalpakatarum punapopabhogyam.
अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं पुनः
Ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्नाम्
Ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्नाम्
Ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्नाम्
Ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्नाम्
Ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्नाम्
2 lines at a time now for 3 times. Nunam vimushtamatayastava mayayate ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanyheto.
नूनं विमुष्टमतयस्तमाययाते ये त्वां
भवाप्ययविमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
Nunam vimushtamatayastava mayayate ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanyheto.
नूनं
विमुष्टमतयस्तमाययाते
त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
Nunam vimushtamatayastava mayayate ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanyheto.
नूनं विमुष्टमतयस्तमाययाते ये त्वां भवाप्यय विमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
Archanti kalpakatarum kunapopabhogyam. Ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं पुनः इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्नाम्
Archanti kalpakatarum kunapopabhogyam. Ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं पुनः इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्नाम्
Archanti kalpakatarum kunapopabhogyam. Ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं पुनः इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्नाम्
No, the vehicle has gone to the 4th gear now. You are very speed at picking it up. So I will do the whole shloka 3 times. If you can recite, you can recite today. All will continue it in the Monday. Okay. Nunam vimushtamatayastava mayayate ye tvam bhavapyaya vimokshanamanyheto. Archanti kalpakatarum punapopabhogyam. Ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
नूनं
विमुष्टमसयस्तवमाययाते
ये त्वां भवाप्यविमोक्षणमन्यहेतो
अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरं
पुनपोक्यम्
इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति
निर्णाम्.
Chandramouli Prabhu, you can be distinguished even in this whole lot also, Prabhu. Third line, Malli, first line, Ajahasmat Prabhu. Chuskondi.
Okay.
Nunam vimushtamatayasthavamāyayāte ye tvam bhavāpyaya vimokshanamanyaheto archanti kalpakatarum kunapopabhogyam icchanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
नूनं विमुष्टमसयस्तवमाययाते ये त्वां भवाप्यविमोक्षणमन्यहेतो अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं पुनपोपभोग्यम् इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्णाम्.
Yeah, final time. Nunam vimushtamatayasthavamāyayāte ye tvam bhavāpyaya vimokshanamanyaheto archanti kalpakatarum punapopabhogyam icchanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nirnam.
नूनं विमुष्टमसयस्तवमाययाते ये त्वां भवाप्यविमोक्षणमन्यहेतो अर्चन्ति कल्पकतरुं पुनपोपभोग्यम् इच्छन्ति यत्स्पर्शजं निरयेति निर्णाम्.
Yeah, the last thing which I wanted to ask you is, are you happy doing it like this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Are you interested?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. That's. If you are getting bored anywhere, anytime, please let me know. We'll go to the other topic and then we'll again come to slokas or to this, prayers again.
Oh, Prabhuji.
Please
No
let me
question
know.
of boredom, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So you can conclude the call, Mataji, today.
Yeah, I'll conclude the call.
We'll practice this on the Monday. Okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद बुक रीडिंग की जय. श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय. हरे कृष्ण. Thank you for joining everybody. Hare Krishna.
Thank